You just babysit kids for pennies. My father-in-law said that in front of 40 guests, 3 cousins I hadn't seen in a decade, and my 4-year-old daughter who was sitting on my wife's lap. My wife didn't flinch. She set down her fork, placed her napkin on the table, and looked at him the way you look at someone who just confirmed everything you already knew. She didn't say a word. 2 days later, my father-in-law would be sitting in a room full of 300 people watching that same woman receive something he could never buy with all his dealership money, and for the first time in 67 years, he had nothing to say. My name is Caleb. I'm 33. I'm a high school history teacher in Savannah, Georgia. 8 weeks ago, my wife, Cora's mother called. They hadn't spoken in 5 years. "Your father and I are having our 45th anniversary," Diane said. "A big gathering. Lily deserves to know her grandparents." Cora looked at me. "What do you think?" "If you want to go, we go." On the kitchen table sat a thick envelope from the Board of Education. Teacher of the Year. The ceremony was Monday. I slid it under some papers. Not the right time. The drive took 4 hours. My in-laws' house hadn't changed. Red brick, wide lawn. Diane met us at the door, crying. Gerald stood behind her, thinner than I remembered. He shook my hand. 2 seconds. Friday night dinner was pot roast. For 20 minutes, it felt normal. Then Gerald started. "Still teaching?" "Yes, sir. 11th grade history." Gerald chewed. "You know who I ran into? Travis Keller. Just opened his 3rd BMW dealership. He's not even 40. He was looking at me now. "No offense, son. I just worry about my daughter's future. Teachers don't retire rich." Cora's hand found mine under the table. I squeezed once. "We're doing fine, Gerald." Fine is a low bar. Saturday, the backyard filled with 40 people. Then a red BMW pulled in. Travis Keller stepped out like he was arriving at a magazine shoot. Gerald shook his hand with both of his. "Cora, come say hello," he called. We walked over, Lily on my hip. Gerald introduced us. "Cora's husband," he said, pausing just long enough before husband to make it sting. The insult came during the main course. Gerald stood, tapping his glass. He thanked everyone. Then his eyes landed on me. "Caleb, tell everyone what you do." I set my fork down. "I'm a high school history teacher." Gerald tilted his head. "A teacher? Ha! You just babysit kids for pennies." The yard went silent. 40 people, ice clinking in glasses. I placed my napkin beside my plate and looked at him, not with anger, with recognition, the look of a man who just had a suspicion confirmed. Lily looked up from Cora's lap. "Daddy, why is Grandpa laughing?" My chest cracked open, not because of what Gerald said, because my 4-year-old heard it. Cora spoke. "Dad, you owe him an apology." Gerald waved his hand. "Lighten up, it was a joke." No one at that table said a word in my defense. Gerald straightened his collar. "In this family, we build things. We don't babysit." I turned to Lily. "Want to see the fireflies?" Her face lit up. I took her hand and we walked across the lawn, past the banner reading Whitfield Family 45 years, past 40 guests who watched us go and turned back to their plates. That night, Cora wanted to leave. "First thing tomorrow." "Can we stay until Monday?" "Monday? Why?" "We won't be here. We'll be in Savannah." I pulled out the envelope. She opened it, read it twice. "Teacher of the Year? When did you find out?" 3 weeks ago. I didn't want you to think I was trying to prove something to your father." Monday, the Civic Center was packed. 300 people. A banner across the stage. Chatham County Teacher of the Year. I walked in. Cora took Lily to the 3rd row. Superintendent Collins spoke. "This year's recipient has given 12 years to public education. He is the only reason I'm alive today," in the words of one former student. The auditorium erupted. 300 people stood. Lily bounced on Cora's lap, yelling, "That's my daddy!" 3 rows back on the left, I saw them. Gerald and Diane in folding chairs. Gerald in his polo shirt from the reunion. They looked out of place. The student tributes began. Dr. Marcus Hall, 28, in his white coat. "When I was 16, I was sleeping in my car.
Mr. Brennan drove me to school every morning for a year. He paid for my AP exams. When I got into Emory, he was the only adult in the front row. I'm a doctor today because a teacher believed in me." 300 people were crying. I stepped to the microphone, no notes. "Someone told me recently that what I do is babysitting for pennies." Quiet laughter. "They were right about one thing. I don't do this for the money. I do this because a 16-year-old sleeping in his car deserved someone who showed up. A teacher's pay doesn't define a teacher's worth. Neither does anyone's opinion." 300 people stood. The ovation rolled through the room. I looked at Cora, at Lily clapping with her whole body. I smiled, just for them. The lobby afterwards was a river of handshakes. Then Gerald approached. He walked through the crowd like a man who'd forgotten how to use his legs. "Caleb, I didn't know about all this." "You didn't ask." His jaw worked. Maybe I was out of line. I looked at him. "You were out of line 5 years ago. Yesterday was just a reminder." He flinched. I turned to a student tugging my sleeve. Gerald stood in the middle of that lobby, 300 people flowing around him. For the first time in 67 years, he had nothing to say. The article ran Wednesday, full half page. Megan shared it on Facebook. Within 2 days, everyone in my in-laws' circle had seen it. Gerald's careful story collapsed overnight. He called Saturday. "I'm not going to say I was wrong about everything, but I was wrong about what I said. If you want a relationship with Lily, it starts with respecting her father. Not tolerating, respecting." The clock in his study ticked. "I'll try." Trying isn't enough. Lily won't grow up thinking it's okay to be treated that way. He exhaled. "Okay." We set rules. Every visit required both of us to agree. My name would be spoken with respect. Any violation meant no contact. Gerald accepted. It cost him, but he accepted. Megan signed a lease in an apartment in Savannah, moved out at 37. Watching you stand up to Dad made me realize I've been waiting for permission my whole life. A month later, Lily came home from preschool. "Mommy, my teacher says Daddy is famous." Cora laughed. "Daddy isn't famous. He's just good at what he does." Lily tilted her head. "Is that the same thing?" Cora stopped walking, looked at her daughter, 4 years old, wisdom falling out like spare change. "Yeah," she said. "Maybe it is." My Teacher of the Year plaque sits on our bookshelf. Next to it, a photo from the ceremony. Lily on stage with me, both of us laughing. I didn't go to that reunion for revenge. I went because my wife wanted her daughter to know her grandparents. What I got instead was a reminder. You can't control how people see you, but you can control who you allow at your table. My father-in-law measures people in dollars. I measure them in potential. And every morning when I put on my $20 tie and drive to a building full of kids who need me, I am worth more than Gerald Whitfield ever understood. Respect isn't earned by a bank statement. It's earned by showing up, especially when no one's watching.